winners of the AFC North last year, and that was the Cincinnati Bengals. They went 12-4, went all the way to the AFC Championship game and lost to Kansas City, or the Joseph Asai penalty that unfortunately gave the Chiefs the opportunity to win, and they did, a game-winning kick. But as any of the elite teams, they did lose some pieces, starting on offense with running back Samaje Perine and tight end Hayden Hurst. Both filled in very well last year for them, so we'll see if they can offset those losses. And then on defense, did lose a couple of defensive backs in Trey Flowers, lost Eli Apple, and then both their safeties in Von Bell and Jesse Bates. So could be a concern, but we'll see. And then addition-wise, they did spend good money and brought in offensive tackle Orlando Brown Jr., obviously to bolster that offensive line. That's been an issue for them past couple of years. And then also brought in guard Cody Ford. He's been in a few spots, but yeah, he could be solid for them as well. And then also grabbed tight end Irv Smith Jr., previously with the Vikings, but dealt with some injuries at the beginning of his career, a guy we were both high on. So, maybe he can fill in right away for Hayden Hurst's absence. And then also brought in cornerback Sidney Jones as well, who's KG vet per se. And then draft-wise, they went and got in the first round at pick 28, edge rusher Miles Murphy out of Clemson. And then in the second round, they grabbed one of my favorite corners and DJ Turner out of Michigan at pick 60 of the second round. And then in round 3, they grabbed safety Jordan Battle out of Alabama. So trying to fill that void that some of those safeties left. And then also grabbed running back Chase Brown out of Illinois as well. I don't know why I said yes. At round 5, pick 165. So nonetheless, not too much of a seismic change for the Bengals going into this season. But what are your thoughts on their offseason, John?
Honestly, I mean, listen, the Bengals, as long as you got Joe Burrow, you got Jamar Chase, the offense is going to be solid. But I really like what they did on the offensive side, at least in, when it comes to the offensive line. Losing Perine kind of sucks. He was like a really solid contributor for them, and clearly the coaching staff liked him. I mean, I think there was like one of those goal line plays, or maybe it was that crucial third and short or something in the Super Bowl. I remember there was a specific, I can't remember the scenario, but there was a specific really important play that Perine was in the game as opposed to Joe Mixon. And so clearly the coaching staff liked him. So losing him kind of hurts. But, you add Chase Brown. They have Travion Williams, right? Or no, they do have Travion Williams, but Chris Evans is the other running back I was thinking of. So I don't know. They have a lot of good young talent who could potentially end up filling the void that Perine left. But other than that, I mean, like I said, the offense, it's business as usual, plus an improved offensive line, adding Orlando Brown at left tackle. So I don't know. It's going to be a really good season for the Bengals. I don't expect anything to really change for them overall. I still think they're going to be one of the better teams in the AFC. And as we've seen in the past, they were able to go to the Super Bowl just 2 years ago, go to the AFC Championship last year. So they're always capable of making a deep run. So yeah, I really liked the addition of Jordan Battle and DJ Turner in the draft. Really bolstering up the secondary, because that was one of the things, at least defensively, that I was a little concerned about, especially once Jesse Bates and Von Bell left, because obviously everybody knows how good Jesse Bates was, but Von Bell was also a pretty good contributor. We had seen that they had added Dax Hill in last year's draft, so I don't know. I like the additions they have over there, but I think the secondary will still certainly probably be a unit to look out for, just because still some inexperience there. I mean, the defensive line's largely the same. You still got some, the same linebackers like Logan Wilson. So I don't know. It will be interesting to see how the Bengals play, but regardless of all the things that we're really looking at, like I said, they're going to make a deep run.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I think they definitely make the playoffs. Question will be, how far. But I had the same concerns. Still kind of do, obviously. You just never know when losing, like you said, Jesse Bates, a really good safety, and Von Bell, who was at very best, a starting safety. So guys who had familiarity with the system. And now you're kind of turning over to young guys. You just never know. It could be for better, for worse, or relatively the same. But yeah, you mentioned Dax Hill. I think he'll obviously have a huge role. They already kind of drafted him for that, because they're already the rumors, or not rumors, but there's already the bit of tension, contract stuff. They already foresaw that last offseason with Jesse Bates. And obviously he left. So, and then, I do like grabbing Jordan Battle 3rd round, not maybe to fill that void more or just extra insurance too. But we'll see. Nonetheless, though, their front four on defense still relatively the same. I wasn't huge on Myles Murphy, but when you're at the end of the first round, I mean, he was a first round talent, so I hear it. And edge, you can never have enough edge rushers in the NFL. I mean, it's the second or third most valued position, probably behind quarterback and tackle. So understandable, and they've been in contention. So gotta have plenty of guys that can get after the Mahomeses, the Josh Allens, the elite quarterbacks of the NFL. So I got no qualms or quandaries with the Bengals offseason. We'll be interested to see who kind of becomes that second running back behind Mixon, because Mixon's always been solid, but I think as we know, and he had a little bit of a contract dispute, they restructured his contract, but he could be out the door pretty soon. And he's also kind of dealt with injuries the past 3 years as well. We know the running back's a demanding position as well. So important to have insurance there. So we'll see if, the loss of P. Ryan, like you mentioned, all the trust in him, and not just pass pro, but other situations, and just hitting the hole and et cetera. If they can find someone they can trust in these younger guys. And then obviously I mentioned Irv Smith. Can he be a solid option for Burrow? Be that third guy that kind of Hayden Hurst was, because I think we've kind of seen Tyler Boyd, as good as he was and has been, he's kind of been on a decline in recent years. Now, granted, limited opportunities, because they got to feed Higgins and Jamar Chase. So it'll be very interesting to see if the Bengals can stay afloat or stay on top as one of those premier teams. Because we saw last year to be in the year, they did not look that way. It took them a couple of weeks to kind of get going, but once they did, they got better. But just because I still have not forgotten, like week 1, I think Burrow threw like 4 picks. It was not a good week for the Bengals, and I think they struggled against. Didn't they lost against your Cowboys the next week or a week later? I forget, but that was without. I think that was one of the Cooper Rush games too, if I remember correctly.
I believe so.
So I remember they got off to a slow start last year.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't have the schedule in front of me. So obviously it would be key that they get off to a better one, because we're going to talk more about the divisions as we go on. But the conference as a whole, I hate that we keep mentioning this, but it's true. The AFC is really good. So you really, besides winning your division, it's really going to be tough to be sure that there's going to be a wild card spot for you if you don't win your division. So, but obviously we'll do that later. But that is the Bengals.